My sister pushed me out of my wheelchair at Thanksgiving dinner. "Stop faking it for attention!" she yelled, while everyone laughed. They didn't know my doctor was standing right behind them, recording the whole thing. Hey, Reddit. So my family thought I'm faking a spinal injury for attention and disability checks. Everything imploded at Thanksgiving when my sister pushed me in front of everyone, grabbed some popcorn, and watch how I destroyed them. I'm Nick, 31 male. Been in a wheelchair for 28 months after a scaffolding collapse at a pipeline job in West Texas. 3 stories of steel framework came down with me on it. Shattered 2 vertebrae. Compressed my spinal cord. Destroyed my sciatic nerve. 7 surgeries later, I've got 18 screws and 6 titanium rods holding my spine together. My sister Kelsey decided I was faking about 6 months in. Started small. Little comments at Dad's birthday. Wow, really committing to the wheelchair thing. Then Easter, when she asked Mom if insurance fraud was a felony or just a misdemeanor loud enough for everyone to hear. The basement where I lived had no accessibility features. Mom hadn't modified anything. Just stuck me down there with my wheelchair and called it help. Getting to the bathroom meant navigating around boxes and old furniture. Every trip was a reminder that this was temporary, that I was supposed to get better and leave. By October, the Facebook post started. Never my name. Just stuff about people who use tragedy as an excuse to stop trying, about enabling versus helping. She'd share articles about disability fraud, post inspirational stories about paralyzed people who learned to walk through sheer determination. The implication was clear. I wasn't trying hard enough. Mom and Dad ate it up. Not openly, but I'd catch them nodding when Kelsey said something cutting. The silence when I tried to defend myself. How they'd change the subject whenever I brought up medical bills. $472,000 in surgeries. Insurance covered 61%. Mom paid the rest with her retirement fund and a second mortgage on the house. She reminded me about 4 times a week. The van cost $41,000. The modifications were another $12,000. Your therapy runs $1,800 a month. The guilt was the point my buddy Carlos called it 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. We were at his shop, me watching him rebuild a carburetor from a '68 Mustang. He'd been my foreman on the pipeline crew. The day I fell, he kept me conscious until the EMTs arrived. Probably saved my life. Guy had zero tolerance for fake people. He never liked Kelsey. Your sister's gonna pull something at Thanksgiving. He didn't look up from his work. She always does. Yeah, well, I'm not going. You should go. He looked up, then pointed at me with the wrench he was holding. I'm coming with you. I called Dr. Park 3 days before Thanksgiving. My orthopedic surgeon, the guy who'd put me back together 4 separate times. Who'd spent 9 hours with my spine open on an operating table. I need a favor, a weird one. He listened to my pitch. Didn't ask if I was sure. Just said, when and where, and I'll be there. The driveway at my parents' house was already packed when I pulled up Mom's second mortgage van with the wheelchair ramp and hand controls. $41,000. She mentioned it every time I borrowed it. My nephew Cody was outside. 13. Already learning his mom's cruelty. He saw me wheeling up and didn't move his football out of my path. Made me navigate around it. Inside smelled like turkey and resentment. 18 people crammed into a living room. They'd put my spot at the far end of the table. The awkward corner where the wheelchair didn't fit right. Kelsey arrived 20 minutes later. Full designer clothes, makeup, the works. She looked at me and smiled. Hey, Nikki. Still working on that miracle recovery? Carlos walked in right behind her, carrying drinks. He caught my eye and nodded once dinner was about to get interesting. Dinner started with Kelsey controlling the conversation. She talked about her daughter's private school. $15,000 a year. Such a sacrifice, but you do what's best for your kids. Pointed look at me. Some people understand the value of hard work. Mom kept steering conversations away from anything real. Weather, holidays, the new restaurant downtown. Anything but the elephant in the room. Uncle Russell talked about his boat. 30-footer. If I could still weld. If I could still work. My cousin changed the subject when I started to answer, like hearing about my limitations would ruin dinner. Aunt Anita whispered something to Mom. Both of them looked at me. Mom shook her head slightly, the kind of gesture that said, not now. Later, Kelsey talked about opportunities and sacrifice, and how expensive it was to raise children properly. Her voice getting louder, more directed at me. Curtis put his hand on her arm once. She shrugged it off, kept going. Every comment another cut. The subtext screaming that I was stealing from her kids, taking their inheritance, draining the family dry. Carlos sat next to me. Every time Kelsey said something pointed, he'd whisper commentary that made me want to laugh and punch something at the same time. She's really going for it tonight. Think she rehearsed this? When she mentioned how some people make one mistake and milk it forever, Carlos stage whispered, "That's bold from someone whose only skill is marrying a guy with a 401k. Curtis shot him a look. Carlos smiled back, friendly. The explosion came during dessert. 3 pies. Kelsey helped Mom serve them. Walked right past me. Gave everyone else a slice. Went back to the kitchen empty-handed. I waited. Carlos squeezed my shoulder once. She came back. Sat down. Started eating. Looking around the table like she was checking if everyone saw what she'd done. My Aunt Anita noticed. Covered her mouth and tried not to smile. Uncle Russell looked uncomfortable. Shifted in his seat. Cody watched me, waiting for my reaction. You forgot something? The table went silent. The air getting heavy. Oh. Kelsey's eyes went wide. Fake innocent. Did you want pie? I thought with the wheelchair and limited mobility, you'd want to watch your weight. Don't want to make things harder on yourself. Don't want Mom to have to buy you an even bigger chair. Those bariatric models are really expensive. Someone gasped. The others were suddenly fascinated by their plates. I'm not watching my weight. Well, you should be. She took another bite. You're already immobile. Imagine if you gained weight too. Mom would have to buy a wider wheelchair. And those are expensive. Kelsey. Mom's voice had no force. Let's not. No, let's. Kelsey put down her fork. Address the room like a prosecutor. Let's talk about how Nick's been living in Mom's basement for 28 months. How she's drained her retirement, her savings, her home equity, because he fell off some scaffolding and decided he never had to work again. I have nerve damage. My spine is held together with titanium. So you say. The temperature dropped. So you say. Because none of us saw you fall. We found you at the bottom of scaffolding you could have climbed down from. For all we know, you threw yourself off. Workers' comp fraud. Insurance fraud. Disability fraud. Dad cleared his throat. Your sister makes a valid point. Cody spoke up from across the table, trying to impress his mom. I've seen you walk, last month. At the grocery store. That was physical therapy. I go 3 times a week. I told everyone. Sure it was. Kelsey leaned back. Meanwhile, you're collecting disability. Living rent-free. Using Mom's credit card. Playing games in the basement like you're 20 instead of 31. Because I'm recovering from a spinal injury. Because you won't try. She emphasized each word. You won't push yourself. You just sit there and milk it while Mom bankrupts herself. The medical bills are real. The surgeries were real. Prove it. The words hung there. What? Prove it. Stand up. Right now. Prove you actually need that chair. Mom and Dad just watched Carlos stood up. That's enough. Stay out of this. Kelsey didn't look at him. Family business. Nick's my family. Carlos's voice went flat. And you need to shut up. Curtis stood too. You threatening my wife? Everyone stand down. Dad's artificial authority. This is getting out of hand. You want out of hand. Kelsey walked over, grabbed my wheelchair. I'll show you out of hand. She pushed. Hard. The chair tipped. I fell sideways with no time to brace. My shoulder hit the hardwood first. Then my head cracked against the floor. Sound echoed through the dining room. My right leg twisted wrong. White-hot pain shot up my spine. Vision whited out. I bit through my tongue. Nobody moved. Get up. Kelsey stood over me. Hands on hips. Stop faking. Everyone's watching. I tried, arms shaking. Palms scraping hardwood. Splinters embedding in skin. The pain in my leg was the kind that made you want to vomit and pass out at the same time. See? Kelsey addressed the room. He's fine. It's all an act. Carlos was already moving toward her. Murder in his eyes. Dad stepped between them. Enough. Kelsey, that was inappropriate, Nick. Get yourself together. Get myself together. Like I'd pushed myself out of my own wheelchair. That's assault and battery against a disabled person. The voice came from the doorway. Cold. Clinical. Everyone turned. Dr. Park stood there. Phone up, recording. Dr. Raymond Park, Korean-American, my orthopedic surgeon, the man who'd performed the spinal fusion that nearly killed me twice on the operating table. The man I'd asked to come document this. I'm Dr. Park. He stepped into the dining room, still filming. I've been recording for 12 minutes. I have video of everything that just happened. Silence. The kind when people realize they've screwed up. Who the hell are you? Dad's voice cracked slightly. Nick's surgeon. I've treated him since 14 hours after his accident. He has severe nerve damage, crushed vertebrae, permanent mobility impairment. Kelsey crossed her arms. People say they see him walking. Because he can. For 12 minutes at a time with a walker, before the nerve damage causes pain severe enough to require medication and rest. Dr. Park pulled up an X-ray on his phone. Held it out. This is Nick's spine. These metal rods and screws are holding his vertebrae together. Without them, he'd be paralyzed from the waist down. The X-ray looked like a hardware store exploded in my body. 6 titanium rods. 18 screws. Could be anyone's X-rays. Kelsey's voice had lost confidence. Dr. Park zoomed in. See this marking? That's Nick's patient ID, etched into the titanium during surgery. Every medical device has a unique identifier. This one is registered to Nick Sutherland, born April 14, 1993. He swiped. This is the surgical report. 9 hours, 4 crushed vertebrae, spinal cord decompression. Cost? $472,000. Insurance covered 61%. The rest came from his mother's retirement and this house's second mortgage. Mom's face went white. Your son can walk 12 minutes at a time with a walker, with a $3,800 orthotic brace. After 12 minutes, the damaged nerves misfire. He experiences neuropathic pain, like being electrocuted and stabbed at the same time. His leg gives out. No warning. Dr. Park turned to Kelsey. So, you didn't just assault him? You aggravated his existing injury. He pulled up another video. Pressed play. Kelsey's voice came through. Prove it. Stand up. The sound of the push me hitting the floor. Her demanding I get up. 18 people watching. Not helping. He stopped it. I recorded everything. The assault. The harassment. He looked at my Uncle Russell. You're not the only one gathering evidence. Uncle Russell's phone dropped to his lap. My attorney is Kara Holt. Disability rights litigation. We're filing a police report tomorrow. Aggravated assault against a disabled person. Class 2 felony in Texas. Kelsey's face drained of color. We're also filing civil suit. Battery assault. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. And conspiracy, since multiple family members participated. Dr. Park looked around the room. Everyone who laughed, everyone who stayed silent, everyone who filmed this thinking. It was funny, you're all on camera. All potentially liable medical bills from tonight will be attached to the lawsuit. Damaged wheelchair, $2,700. Damaged orthotic brace, $3,800 additional injury from the fall. Estimating $40,000 to $50,000 in treatment. We'll send the itemized list. This is ridiculous. Kelsey's voice shook. It was an accident. You proved something today. Dr. Park's voice went cold. You proved you're willing to physically attack your disabled brother because you resent the financial burden. You proved you're exactly why disability rights litigation exists. He looked at me. Can you move? Yeah. He knelt down. Professional, efficient. Examined my shoulder, head, leg. His face darkened. Possible concussion. Dislocated shoulder-torn ligament in the knee. He looked up. Someone get his wheelchair. Now. Carlos had it already. Wheeled it over. Dr. Park helped me back in with precision that came from doing this 1,000 times. We're leaving. Nick has an ER appointment. Assault-related injuries. Every dollar will be added to the lawsuit. He started pushing me toward the door. Behind us, 18 people stood frozen. The assault they'd witnessed. The nephew they'd helped destroy. All of it recorded by a board-certified surgeon who specialized in exactly this. Wait. Kelsey's voice cracked. Nick, please, I didn't mean it. We didn't know. I looked back at her. At my sister who just pushed me out of my wheelchair. You decided I was lying without ever once asking to see medical records or come to appointments or understand what I've been living with. I didn't look back again. Carlos opened the van door. Dr. Park helped me in. As we pulled away, I could see Kelsey through the window, standing on the porch, crying 18 people inside, suddenly realizing they'd just committed multiple crimes. On camera, with a surgeon as a witness. Carlos broke the silence first. That went exactly as planned. Yeah, I closed my eyes. Pain radiating from my shoulder, my head, my leg. Exactly as planned. Dr. Park glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Hospital first, police second, then we destroy them. The ER at Baptist Health was Friday night busy. Drunk drivers, street fights. A guy who'd tried to deep fry a turkey in his garage and learned about oil fires the hard way Dr. Park got me through triage in 20 minutes. Spoke with Dr. Hannah Brennan, attending physician. They'd worked together on some medical board. Professional courtesy. Imaging took 40 minutes. X-rays of X-rays. Proof on top of proof that I was actually hurt. Results came back on a tablet. Dr. Brennan pulled up the images. Grade 2 shoulder separation. See this gap? That's torn ligaments. Surgery required. She swiped. Next image. Torn medial collateral ligament in your knee. That's surgical too. You'll need reconstruction. Another swipe. Mild concussion. We'll monitor overnight. Make sure there's no bleeding. How long for recovery? 8 weeks minimum. Probably more given your existing condition. Carlos sat in the corner, making phone calls. I could hear fragments. Yeah, assault-related. Yes, documented. Send everything to Kara Holt. She'll know what to do. The police report was filed Friday morning. Detective Angela. Gravelly voice. 21 years dealing with Amarillo's worst. Mr. Sutherland, I've reviewed the video. Doctor's statement. Medical records. This is clear-cut. Aggravated assault against a disabled person. We're issuing a warrant. How long before you arrest her? 24 hours, maybe less. She assaulted you in front of 18 witnesses with a doctor filming. She paused, looked at me straight. I've worked disability assault cases for 12 years. Families are usually the worst offenders. They convince themselves it's tough love, that they're helping. Then they cross the line and act shocked when we show up. Kelsey was arrested Saturday afternoon at a Target buying groceries, like her life wasn't about to implode. Detective Angela told me later that Kelsey tried to explain it away, called it a family misunderstanding, said I was being dramatic. Angela had handcuffed her in the parking lot while other shoppers watched. Posted bail by Saturday evening, $45,000. Had to borrow from Curtis's parents. Her lawyer called Sunday, Preston. Voice like someone trying to sound important. My client wants to apologize. Make this right. Drop the charges. I'm not pressing charges. The state is. Right. But if you testified it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was filmed by multiple cameras, witnessed by 18 people, documented by a board-certified surgeon who specializes in this exact thing. There's no gray area. The line went quiet. Then, we'll be in touch. They never called back. Carlos showed up Monday morning with coffee and updates. Guess what? Your sister got fired. He handed me the coffee. Wait, what? Are you serious? Yep. Her office found out about the arrest. Decided they couldn't have someone under indictment for disability assault working in HR. The irony's pretty thick. Human Resources fired someone for assaulting a disabled person. Her entire job was preventing disability discrimination lawsuits. Carlos grinned. They're claiming liability concerns. Can't have someone who attacks disabled people representing our company. The civil suit was filed Tuesday. Kara Holt, 47. Stanford Law Disability Rights Specialist for 16 years. We're suing Kelsey for battery and intentional infliction. But there's more here. What? Your parents? Your nephew? Everyone who participated. They created a hostile environment, conspired to intimidate you. That's actionable. You want me to sue my whole family? I want you to send a message. She leaned forward. I've handled hundreds of these cases. Disabled people attacked by family. It's epidemic. They almost never fight back because they're isolated, financially dependent, scared of losing support. So they stay quiet. They stay quiet. But you have documentation, a surgeon willing to testify video evidence. You can make this stick. I just wanted them to believe me. They believe you now. Her smile was sharp. Now we make sure they never forget it. Mom called me Wednesday. First time since Thanksgiving. Your sister's living in a motel, can't find work. She's your sister. Can't you do something? Like what? Talk to the prosecutor. Tell them it was a family dispute. It was assault. She made a mistake. Mom, I stopped her. She spent 6 months calling me a fraud, posting about it, convincing the family. Then she physically pushed me out of my wheelchair in front of 18 people. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. So you're destroying her life? I'm letting her experience consequences. There's a difference. She hung up, blocked my number, changed the locks on the house so I couldn't get my stuff from the basement. Carlos and I broke in Friday, entered with a key Mom gave me 28 months ago and never asked back legal entry. We loaded everything into his truck, 2 years in that basement, clothes, computer, medical supplies, walker, specialized cushions, my stuff. Carlos carried the heavy boxes. I directed from the wheelchair. Your mom's gonna lose it when she sees this. We drove to my new place. Ground floor apartment Carlos had found. Fully accessible. Rent covered by an advance against the settlement. 800 square feet mine. No basement, no parents, no guilt. Carlos helped me unpack. Stayed through evening. Ordered food. Made dark jokes about my family that from anyone else would be wrong, but from him felt exactly right. You know the best part? He looked around. No stairs, no family, no guilt trips. Just you and your titanium spine. Living the dream. Living something. Hey, he got serious. You're doing the right thing. Your family was toxic. They blamed you for being hurt, made your injury about their inconvenience. Walking away isn't revenge, it's self-preservation. Feels like revenge. That's because they trained you to feel guilty for needing help. But needing help isn't weakness, and anyone who can't handle your humanity doesn't deserve access to you. 3 months later, the settlement came. Kelsey pleaded guilty to aggravated battery, got 3 years probation, 200 hours of community service, anger management, a suspended sentence of 18 months that would activate if she violated probation. Curtis had filed for divorce 2 weeks after her arrest. Moved the kids to his parents' house. Kelsey was living in a motel near the highway, working part-time at a call center. Her HR career was done. Nobody would hire someone with a disability assault conviction. The civil suit settled for $196,000. The breakdown was specific, itemized. $57,000 for the surgeries and therapy from Thanksgiving, $29,000 for damaged equipment, $48,000 for pain and suffering, $62,000 in punitive damages, because the jury would have awarded more if we'd gone to trial and everyone knew it. Her lawyer had tried to negotiate down, claimed she couldn't afford it. Kara had pulled out Kelsey's Facebook posts, the ones about fraud and faking, showed them to the mediator. Settlement stayed at $196. Kelsey would be paying me $454 a month for the next 36 years. Kara called me the day the settlement finalized. You won. Doesn't feel like winning. It never does. But you sent a message. Disabled people matter. Assault has consequences. My sister's broke. Divorced. Her life is ruined. Your sister ruined her own life. You just documented it. Carlos took me out to celebrate. By celebrate, I mean we went to a hole-in-the-wall barbecue place and ate brisket and didn't talk about the settlement. How's physical therapy going? He asked eventually. Better. The new therapist actually listens. Understands that nerve damage means I have limits. Limits aren't failure. Try telling that to my family. Your former family. He corrected. The people who actually care about you are your real family now. Everyone else is just related by biology. He was right. I saw Kelsey 6 months after the settlement at physical therapy, the same clinic where Cody had supposedly seen me walking. She was there in a volunteer coordinator vest. Court-ordered community service. Hair pulled back, looking exhausted. I'm volunteering in the rehab wing. She saw me, started to stand, sat back down. Helping patients with mobility exercises. That's good. I meet a lot of people like you. Her voice was quiet. People with spinal injuries, nerve damage, people who look fine but are fighting every day. I didn't say anything. I'm sorry, Nick. I didn't understand. I just decided you were lying because it was easier than accepting you were really hurt. That mom and dad's money was going to something real. Why did you do it? Kelsey looked at the floor. Because I was jealous of the attention. You got hurt, and suddenly you were all that mattered. Every conversation was about you, your surgeries, your needs. And I disappeared. My kids disappeared. She looked up, eyes red. But that's not an excuse. You were hurt, and I made it worse. I'm sorry. You pushed me because you learned hurting people was acceptable if you framed it right, if you had their approval. I know. Do you? Because you're doing court-ordered community service because a judge told you to, not because you decided to be better. Her face crumpled. You're right. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want you to know, I'm different now. Don't make me your redemption story. My voice stayed flat. Don't make my disability the thing that taught you empathy. That's not fair to me. She left. I sat there thinking about family, about whether biology was enough to overcome fundamental toxicity. Carlos picked me up. Read my face. Saw your sister? Yeah. How'd that go? About how you'd expect. He drove in silence, then said what he'd been holding back. You don't owe her anything except maybe the satisfaction of knowing she's facing consequences. I know. I thought that was the end of it. But 10 months after Thanksgiving, Kelsey proved she never changed. Her life was getting harder, and she was spiraling again. She showed up at my apartment complex, didn't knock, just sat in her car watching my building. Carlos spotted her first. Called me. Your sister's in the parking lot. Been there 20 minutes staring at your windows. I looked out the window. Her car. Third row. Engine off. Her silhouette visible in the driver's seat. Not moving, just watching. She does this again. We call the cops. Carlos stayed on the line. I'm documenting this. Taking photos. Timestamps. Everything. She came back 3 more times that week. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Thursday at 9 a.m. Saturday at 6 p.m. Different times. Like she was studying my patterns. Dr. Park did drive-bys. Photographed her car each time. Got her face through the windshield. Time-stamped. We were building evidence for the restraining order we both knew was coming. Then she started showing up at my coffee shop, the one I went to every morning. Sat 2 tables away. Stared. Didn't approach. Just watched. The barista asked if I was okay. If the woman was bothering me, she's my sister, which didn't make it better. You want me to ask her to leave? Not yet, but I stopped going there. The weird part was how she'd time it. Show up right when I did. Like she knew my schedule. Carlos thought she might be tracking my van somehow. We checked. Nothing. She was just that committed to watching me. Mom started calling from different numbers. I'd answer thinking it was a doctor's office or the pharmacy. Instead, her voice. You're destroying your sister. You're destroying this family. I'd hang up, block the number. One time she called from a number with a California area code. I answered. She started crying immediately, begging me to drop everything. Said Kelsey was falling apart, that this was killing her grandkids. I hung up mid-sentence. Dad tried a different approach. Sent emails. Subject lines like, "We need to talk" and "Family matters." I deleted them without reading. Curtis called once. The conversation I didn't expect. She's getting worse, not better. The therapist says she hasn't accepted responsibility. She blames you for everything. The arrest, the divorce, losing the kids, all of it. That's not my problem. I know, he sighed. I just wanted to warn you she's obsessing. Driving past your place, following your routines. I'm worried she's going to do something. Like what? I don't know. But whatever she's building to, it won't be good. He was right. 3 days later, I found a note on my van windshield. Kelsey's handwriting. You've taken everything from me. My job, my kids, my life. All I want is a chance to explain. To make you understand. Please, Nick, let me talk to you. Before it's too late. Carlos read it. Called Kara immediately. That's a threat. His voice was flat. Before it's too late is a threat. Kara agreed. We filed for a restraining order, cited the parking lot surveillance, the coffee shop incidents, the note. The hearing was scheduled for 2 weeks out. It happened on a Thursday morning. Kelsey showed up with Preston, her lawyer, looking professional, hair done, makeup perfect, like she was going to a club. Your Honor, my client is simply trying to reconcile with her brother. She's remorseful. She's been in therapy. She wants to make amends. Kara stood up, laid out the documentation, photos of Kelsey's car in my parking lot. 4 separate occasions. Time-stamped. Date-stamped. She's not reconciling. She's stalking. She waits in the parking lot for 20 to 40 minutes at a time. Different days, different times. Then the coffee shop incident. The barista had given us a written statement. Kelsey, sitting 2 tables away, just watching. The judge looked at Kelsey. Is this accurate? I just wanted to see him. To know he was okay. By watching him from your car? By following him to coffee shops? Silence. Then Kara presented the note, the one found on my windshield. Before it's too late, highlighted. This is a veiled threat, Your Honor. The defendant has a history of violence against my client. She's currently on probation for assaulting him. This pattern of behavior suggests escalation. Preston tried to argue. It's not a threat. It's desperation. She's lost everything and just wants a chance to apologize. She lost everything because she assaulted a disabled person. Kara's voice went cold. And now she's harassing him. The judge took maybe 30 seconds to decide. Restraining order granted. Miss Sutherland, you are to stay 500 feet away from your brother at all times. No contact, no communication, direct or indirect. This includes parking near his residence, following him to public places, or attempting to speak with him through third parties. Kelsey's face went white. Violation of this order will result in immediate arrest and activation of your suspended sentence. I'm also extending this order to include his workplace, his medical facilities, and any location he frequents regularly. You'll receive a full list within 48 hours. The order was effective immediately. Valid for 2 years, renewable if necessary. 1 year after Thanksgiving, Mom called used Dad's phone because I'd blocked hers. The family wants to have another gathering, Christmas this time. Your father and I think it's time to heal. Kelsey will be there. We're hoping you might come. You know it's a chance to fix things. No, I said. I'm not coming. I'm done pretending we're a family just because it makes you comfortable. You've made your point. You've gotten your settlement. Isn't that enough? This isn't about making a point. This is about choosing not to sit at a table with people who watched me get assaulted and did nothing. You can't mean that. I mean every word. I hung up. Blocked that number too. Life got better after that. Quiet, predictable. My new apartment had everything set up the way I needed it. Physical therapy 3 times a week showed real progress. 15 minutes of standing with the walker now. Not much, but more than I'd had 6 months ago. Carlos still came by regularly. He'd work on his current project, whatever car or motorcycle he was rebuilding, and not talk about my family. It was perfect. Then Kelsey showed up. violated the restraining order 14 months after Thanksgiving. It was a Tuesday evening around 7. Carlos was over, we were watching a game, and someone started pounding on my door. Nick! I know you're in there! Open the door! Kelsey's voice, but shrill, desperate. Carlos stood up, moved toward the door, positioned himself between it and me. Nick, please, I need to talk to you. It's important. We can call the cops. Carlos pulled out his phone. She's violating the restraining order. The pounding stopped. Then I heard crying. Loud, ugly crying. Please. Her voice cracked. Curtis took the kids. The judge gave him full custody. Mom and Dad won't return my calls. I lost my apartment. I'm living in my car, Nick. My car. And it's all falling apart and I don't know what to do. I wheeled closer to the door. Didn't open it. What do you want, Kelsey? She was sobbing now. I don't know. I want to go back. To before Thanksgiving. I want to undo it. I want you to tell Curtis I'm not dangerous. Tell the judge I'm fine. Tell Mom and Dad to help me. Please, Nick. You're the only one who can fix this. And there it was. The real reason she was here. Not to apologize. To ask me to fix the consequences she'd created. I can't fix this. Yes, you can. Talk to Curtis. Tell him it was a misunderstanding. Tell him I'm getting better. Tell him the assault charge was blown out of proportion. She started listing everything she needed me to do. Call Curtis. Call the judge. Call her lawyer. Write a letter saying I forgave her. That it wasn't that bad. Each one more desperate than the last. Carlos moved closer to the door. Lady, you need to leave before I call the police. This doesn't concern you. Kelsey's voice went sharp. This is between me and my brother. Your brother who you assaulted. Carlos's voice went flat. Your brother who you humiliated. That brother? Silence. Yeah, that's what I thought. Now leave before I make that call. I'm not leaving until Nick talks to me. Like family. We're not family. I said it clearly, firmly. Family doesn't do what you did. I was wrong. Her voice was getting higher. More frantic. I know I was wrong. I've been going to therapy working with other patients. I'm different now. Carlos was already dialing 911. The doorknob stopped rattling. Then more pounding. More desperate. Nick, please, I'm your sister. You owe me. After everything Mom and Dad did for you. After all the money they spent, you owe us. I don't owe you anything. My disability isn't a debt. My injuries aren't an inconvenience I need to apologize for. And your consequences aren't my responsibility. Sirens in the distance. Getting closer. The pounding stopped. Footsteps running. Carlos looked out the peephole. She's gone. Ran to the parking lot. Cops are pulling in now. 2 officers showed up 3 minutes later. Took statements. Reviewed the no-contact order. Put out a call for Kelsey's car. Found her 20 minutes later parked behind a gas station 2 blocks away. Arrested her for violating the protection order. Criminal trespass. Harassment. Her probation was revoked. The suspended sentence activated. Kelsey went to jail for 18 months. Mom called the next day. From a number I didn't recognize. Left a voicemail. This is your fault. Your sister is in jail because of you. You've destroyed this family, Nick. I hope you're proud of yourself. I deleted it without listening to the whole thing. Carlos came by that evening. Brought food. Sat on my couch. Your sister's attorney tried calling me, wants me to testify that she seemed remorseful. That she was just desperate, not dangerous. What did you say? I told him to get lost. She violated a court order. That's not remorse. That's entitlement. And I'm not helping someone who thinks assaulting my best friend is forgivable. He opened the food. Started eating. Then said what we were both thinking. She learned nothing. The whole year, the consequences, the community service, the anger management. None of it changed her. She still thinks the world owes her something. Still can't accept that actions have permanent results. Yeah. Good thing you saw it coming. 3 weeks after Kelsey went to jail, Curtis called. The kids are doing better. Cody asked if he could apologize someday. Maybe. Not yet. Fair. Curtis paused. 6 months later, Carlos mentioned Mom had a stroke. Minor. She recovered. Dad tried reaching out through Carlos. Showed up at his shop asking him to tell me they were ready to forgive me. Like I was the one who needed forgiveness. Carlos told them I'd moved out of state. Changed my number. None of it was true. But they stopped trying. I ran into Dad once at a hardware store. 20 months after Kelsey went to jail. He saw me. Froze. Started to come over. I looked at him. That look that said, don't. He stopped. Changed direction. Walked away. Kelsey got out after 18 months. Good behavior. Curtis sent me an email. She'd moved to Oklahoma. Different state. Trying to start over where nobody knew her story. She'd asked if she could contact me. He told her no. I wrote back. Thank you. Physical therapy got me to 17 minutes of walking with the walker. Bought my apartment outright with settlement money. Started volunteering at the hospital 3 days a week, helping other spinal injury patients deal with families who didn't believe them. I was doing fine, apartment paid for. Titanium rods holding my spine together. Settlement money still coming in. Carlos still showing up every week. Life's good. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.